This is the Bible made clear.
Have you ever prayed and heard nothing back? No answer, no sign, no shift, just silence. And in that silence, you start to wonder, is God listening? Or am I alone? You prayed harder. You searched your heart for something you missed. You asked God if you had done something wrong. You replayed every decision, every word, every failure, and still, nothing changed. The situation didn't move. The door didn't open. The pain didn't ease. And the silence started to feel personal, like maybe you were being ignored. But you are not the first to feel that silence. David wrote, "How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever?" That is not a weak man speaking. That is a king, a warrior, a man after God's own heart. And even he felt unheard. Job cried out for answers, and heaven did not respond the way he expected. 400 years passed between the last prophet and the birth of Christ. 400 years of quiet, no miracles recorded, no prophets speaking, no visible movement. And yet, God was not absent. He was preparing something the world could not yet see. Sometimes the silence shows up in very ordinary places. It shows up in the hospital waiting room, when the doctor hasn't returned. It shows up in the empty bank account, when the bills are still due. It shows up at night, when you stare at the ceiling and whisper, "God, I need you to move." And the ceiling does not move. The room does not shift. The answer does not come. And that is where the struggle becomes personal. Because when nothing changes externally, everything starts shaking internally. You question your worth. You question your calling. You question whether you misunderstood God completely. And the longer the silence stretches, the louder your doubts become. That is exactly where Joseph lived. Not for a day, not for a month, but for years. He carried a promise from God, and then watched his life collapse. Sold by his brothers, falsely accused, thrown into prison, and forgotten. Imagine praying in that prison cell. Imagine remembering the dream God gave you, and hearing nothing in return. Year after year, no explanation, no timeline, no reassurance, just silence. But silence was not the end of Joseph's story. It was the shaping of it. Prison built the character that the palace would require. Delay built the endurance that leadership would demand. And when the door finally opened, Joseph was ready. What if the silence you are in is not evidence that God has left, but evidence that He is preparing you for something your current strength cannot yet sustain? What if the waiting is the training? What if the quiet is the classroom? Because God is not rushed. He is intentional. He does not build fragile faith. He builds durable faith. And durable faith is forged where applause is absent and reassurance is rare. Silence does not mean abandonment. It often means preparation. Seeds grow in darkness. Roots strengthen where no one is watching. And faith, real faith, is formed when feelings disappear. When God feels silent, He may be building endurance in you. He may be removing your dependence on signs. He may be teaching you to trust His character instead of your circumstances. Because trust built in noise is shallow, but trust built in silence is unshakable. Think about it. When everything is loud, when prayers are answered immediately, when doors open the moment you knock, it is easy to believe. But when heaven is quiet, when the outcome doesn't change, when the prayer feels suspended in the air, that is where faith becomes real. Silence tests what you actually believe. Do you trust God only when He moves quickly? Or do you trust Him when nothing seems to move at all? Silence strips away performance. It removes emotional highs. It forces you to decide. Will you trust who God is, even when you cannot see what He is doing? And maybe, just maybe, the silence is not punishment. It is protection. Protection from outcomes you are not ready for. Protection from timing that would crush you. Protection from answers that would distract you from deeper growth. The absence of noise does not mean the absence of God. Job sat in ashes and asked questions that echoed into heaven. He did not receive quick answers. He received silence first. Silence long enough for friends to misunderstand him. Silence long enough for his own thoughts to turn against him. And in that silence, something deeper was being formed. Job's faith moved from second-hand belief to first-hand encounter. At the end of his trial, he said, "I had heard of you by the hearing of the ear, but now my eye sees you." The silence did not destroy him. It revealed God to him in a way comfort never could. Comfort makes faith shallow. Pressure makes it deep. When everything is explained, faith rests on clarity. But when nothing is explained, faith rests on trust. And trust is stronger than explanation. You may want answers. You may want timelines. You may want clarity. But what God often builds first is stability. Stability that does not collapse when circumstances shift. Stability that does not panic when outcomes delay. Stability that stands. Even when heaven is quiet, the absence of movement does not mean the absence of purpose. Some of the greatest works of God begin in seasons where nothing appears to be happening. Joseph sat in prison before he sat in the palace. David tended sheep before he wore a crown. Jesus spent 30 hidden years before 3 public ones changed the world. Silence is not a dead end. It is often the hallway before the door opens. So if you are in a silent season, do not assume you are forgotten. Wait for the Lord. Be strong, and let your heart take courage. Yes, wait for the Lord. God does some of His deepest work in the quiet.
This is the Bible Made Clear. Please like and subscribe if these lessons have been a blessing to you. Thank you.